Did Jake Gyllenhaal do it? Let's talk about it. What's up, Flick fans? Welcome back to the channel. I was so excited for Presumed Innocent. We try to cover everything on streaming, so I've seen the first 7 episodes of this show. The first 2 have premiered. I'm not going to go into any more detail past the first 2, and of course, I haven't seen the finale, so today we're going to talk about it. Is it good? Does it get better? Let's do it.
I just want to make sure that we have everything exactly right.
Let's get started.
You aware that Carolyn Williams was murdered?
So a horrific murder upends the Chicago Prosecuting Attorney's office when one of its own is suspected for a crime. The show explores obsession, sex, politics, and the power and limits of love as the accused fights to hold his family and marriage together, of course, being played by Jake Gyllenhaal. That's what had my attention the most, and the fact that we've seen this story before with Harrison Ford and based off of a book. And so a lot of things here, none of which I am familiar with, so I had no clue the trajectory of what this story was going to be. And even after 7 episodes, without spoilers, admittedly, I am still questioning some things, and I have or had, I'm not going to tell you which one, so many presumptions as to who the murderer actually was. But what the show does beautifully is it continues to throw you a curveball with every episode, starting with episode 2 as to who it could be. And anytime I thought I had it figured out, we would be introduced to someone else, or someone else would come to the forefront, and it would give us evidence in which you could say, well, maybe that person was involved, maybe that person did it. And I believe the show does a great job of keeping you on your toes as a viewer. And while some are presumed guilty, others are presumed innocent.
He said it!
We don't know who actually did it. And so here was my mindset going in, right? I'm like, it kind of feels like maybe a Gone Girl combined with, we've seen Gyllenhaal play countless detectives and police officers and people investigating crimes. Is this just going to be another character like that? But in the first 2 episodes alone, you can see how the struggle of what he is dealing with is really affecting his work life, but also his home life. Being accused of murder as a prosecuting attorney, yeah, that'll do it for the work life, but his home life is messed up when some things about what he is doing behind the scenes is revealed. And those reveals in the first 2 episodes, again, they're already out, you've probably seen them, should theoretically destroy his home life. But Ruth Negga's character is trying to keep everything together. Her mental state, what's going on with the kids. I am trying to make this family a family, even though the one that I love or loved is accused of all of these horrible things and lied to me, telling me that this affair was over when it was really still going. And the moment he sits down and admits this to his family in the first 2 episodes at the dinner table is just like, man, you feel so bad for her and the kids, and you're intrigued by Rusty, but you're also questioning Rusty, because is this a false narrator of sorts in a way, right? Are we following the guy who we think at the beginning is going to be the good guy, even though we know he's accused of murder? But then we start to get some things revealed as we go that allow us to look at him as someone who really could have done it. And again, I don't have all of the answers yet because I haven't seen the finale, but the show does a really great job of bringing about evidence, but not just for him. And we're not talking 2 or 3 other people. We're talking about 7, 8, 9 other people that could have done it, that this show continues to bring about with every single episode. And this is a story, and I say this all the time, that is built for a series or a limited series, right? Because you can spend each episode delving into a very specific plot point and leave us hanging at the end, which they often do, especially that cliffhanger after episode 2. Y'all are probably like, what? You saw him where? What's going on? And then boom, cut to black, right? Well, when we pick back up, the story kind of changes and continues to change, right? I liked the first episode. It's pretty good, but admittedly, I've seen shows like this. Guys being accused of some things, whether he's a prosecuting attorney, a police officer, whatever it may be, he's going to eventually weasel himself out of it. And by the time you get to episode 2, at least the end of it, he hasn't done that yet. Actually, he's further in. This second episode really got me on the edge of my seat, and we're asking questions because we want to know what in the world happened? How is he involved? And then there are the deeper questions of, was the child really his? And we're asking all of these things like, this show is bringing about a lot of questions in the first few episodes, but it's as we go, not to reveal too much, that it starts to reveal some answers, but not really the answers that you're looking for, because there's one answer we're looking for, and I'm still waiting.
How long is this going to take?
How about Bill Camp, one of my favorites whenever he pops up in a TV show or movie as Raymond, and he's Rusty's friend, peer, acquaintance. Even though he doesn't have to believe everything he tells him, he does, but he even tells his wife at one point, I mean, even if I know he did do it, would I just cover it up because he's my best friend? And so he's asking the questions that we are kind of wondering about him, but I just love his mentality about this entire thing. And the first time he questions his friend Rusty, like, why would he have been lying to me? Why did I bring him in the first place? And when you see that first sequence in episode 1, you really don't know how deep this mystery goes at that point, but just the look on Gyllenhaal's face. And again, it's that subtle acting that he often does, bringing everything to this role. I wouldn't be shocked if he gets an Emmy nomination. I really wouldn't.
I hope so.
I will say this, and it could be partially how talented someone like Jake is, but there are certain performances in this show that just don't quite sell the proper emotion when I believe it's necessary. There are some conversations and moments within the dialogue between two characters that I just didn't get what I required from that character in that moment. And Jake brings the nuance. Some of the other actors in here, I did require a bit more there. And then there are times within episodes where, and I know you're telling a lot of story here, and I just praised how it is a series, where the pacing does struggle just a bit, right? And I do feel as if they're setting up something crazy in the finale. They only sent me 7 episodes, and so I feel like something crazy is going to happen in the finale. A lot of it does depend on the payoff, though, right? I'm still going to, even if it's a bad final episode, say, yeah, this is a good show. But to be a great show, I need a great final episode. And episode 7, the way we leave off, I'm sitting here going, okay, you've done justice to this so far with 1 or 2 bumps along the way. Now let's bring it home. If they bring it home and catch me by surprise, even if they don't, but it makes sense with the characters, I'm going to be happy and satisfied. But the difference between good and great really hinges on that final episode. I'm still going to score what I've seen so far because I've seen almost the entire thing, but that could obviously change with the finale, which I have to wait on for like over a month. So that sucks. Son of a bitch! Another character in here, Nico. I love that internal conflict between he and Rusty when they first go at it around the table, and you can tell he's kind of got it out for him, but also he is technically just doing his job. But as that escalates throughout the show, man, that was really fun to see. And someone else, a really other talented actor, like a Peter Sarsgaard, he plays Tommy. Tommy's a little slimy, and there are a lot of characters like this in the show where it's like, they may seem okay on their surface, but they're really a scumbag or a slime ball. And then you have those characters who are just a scumbag or a slime ball in general. The cinematography is good for the most part. The show feels very cinematic. I loved the camera movements on occasion, but then there are other times where the cinematography just didn't feel like it fit the scene that we were going for. Instead of a wide shot, we'd get a close-up, and the camera was kind of moving all over the place. Then we'd have moments where it's getting very intimate with a character, and it wouldn't put the character in frame in the way that I felt was kind of necessary for the moment. Again, that's just you really can't quantify that. That's why sometimes movie criticisms just, it's all opinion-based to start with. I feel like the shot selection was occasionally spotty, which I usually don't have issues with for Apple shows, and so that was questionable, that was iffy, but for the most part, it does feel streamlined and cinematic. So before I give you my score for episodes 1 through 7, would you like to see me talk more spoilers about this show? Because there's a lot more to talk about that I can't dive into in a non-spoiler review. Also, we may talk about it on my podcast, Movie Mode, where we're talking The Boys, Presumed Innocent, and Inside Out 2 this weekend. Check that out. Oh, and drop a thumbs up if you'd like to see more Apple TV Plus reviews. So far, Presumed Innocent is proving to be must-see television on a weekly basis. The overarching mystery will keep viewers on their toes while Gyllenhaal gives it his all. Not every performance lives up to that standard, and the story stumbles on occasion, but the build-up is intriguing enough to keep you coming back for more. it kept me coming back for more as I watched it all in a day. I'm sorry, but hey, good thing is, or the bad thing is for me, I have to now wait over a month for the finale. And so at least you guys get to spread it out and not sit on pins and needles until middle of July. Whenever it's coming out, doesn't matter. It does matter because we'll talk about it. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. It's my daughter's birthday this weekend. She's 1 year old and I love her. See you soon.